Hi guys, I'm Hema, and today I have a college advice video for you guys, and
Am I the only one who's excited that school started?
I'm really glad to be back in school. I mean, yes, there's the sleep deprivation and the whole lot of homework to do, but I'm actually willing to take all of that. I'm kind of really excited for this semester. So this video is targeted to all of you freshmen, first years in college. You're in this whole new world, and it can get a little overwhelming, I must admit. It's a little crazy because you're away from home and it's a whole new environment, and no one's kidding when they say college is hard because it's not like high school, it's a whole other ball game. So my first tip to surviving your freshman year, to come out on the other end, still sane, still a functioning human being, there are a few steps you got to take. So my first tip is to ask for help. I know you're in this new place and you want to be in control, you think you're in control, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't be afraid to go to your advisors, your professors, your RAs for help, because that's what they're meant to do. They're there for a reason, right? Don't be afraid to go to your advisor for advice on what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to navigate through this whole college life. Like, if you're thinking about changing your major this early in the semester, or if you're thinking about a concentration, talk to your advisor. Talk about the best way to, proceed forth, because you don't want to put things off in college because there is so much to get done and there's just enough time. So you really don't have time to procrastinate and be like, oh, I can do it like later in the semester. Don't do that. Don't be afraid to go to your professor and voice your concerns and express your worries about the class, because you might be taking classes that you've never handled the subject matter before in your life. And if you're completely lost, go to your professor and ask for help. They're there to help you. I'm pretty sure you would have office hours for your professors. Don't be afraid to make use of it. Just go to your professor or shoot them an email. Make sure to let your professors know what you're struggling with and why you think you're struggling with it, because they want you to do well. Yes, they might be harsh graders, they might be a little eccentric, a little crazy, but they're there to help you, I promise. Third, your RAs. They're the closest staff members you have, and they're trained to handle conflicts that students might face. Yes, they may not be able to give you a solution, but RAs are generally equipped to point you in the right direction. So don't be afraid to go to your RA, be friendly with them, talk to them, they're generally really great, and ask for help. Tell them if you're struggling with something, and who knows, they might give you like the best advice ever, or they would be able to hook you up with someone who knows better. I personally wish I had spoken to my RA my freshman year, but I was too afraid to ask for help, and I regret that so much right now, and I don't want anyone else going through the same thing. Especially if you have roommate conflict or some kind of dorm life crisis, RAs are definitely the best people to go to. The second tip to surviving freshman year is learning how to handle peer pressure. You're going to be stressed out about a million different things, but peer pressure is definitely going to be one of it. You're going to want to do things just because people are doing it. You're going to want to experiment. Just because everyone else is doing it, you're like, oh, why not? But don't let the fear of not fitting in lead you to do something that you don't want to do. Think about things. Set limits, set boundaries for yourself. You really don't want to do something that will make you regret your actions, your decisions, because it can be so demoralizing when you're like,
Oh my god, I make bad decisions. Oh my god, I can't live by myself.
it will just throw you off your game, and that will affect your education, your social life, your everything. So essentially speaking, you need to set boundaries so that you don't crack under peer pressure. You know what you're doing and you know your limits. I'm not saying don't experiment, don't have fun. I'm just saying set limits and boundaries for yourself. Don't do stuff that you ultimately don't want to do. The third thing I have for you guys is stay motivated. College is not like high school. You cannot cram everything you need to know for an exam the night before. Trust me, been there, done that. You need to consistently motivate yourself to keep studying, to constantly be present in class. First thing is show up to class, and then take it a step further and actually be present and participate in class, because that will really facilitate your learning process. And when you're doing revision, it'll be so much easier, trust me. You want to revise the week before exams, not study the week before exams. There's a difference. It is really, really easy to lose motivation in college because a lot of things happen. Your social life could take a hit, or you could just be homesick, or you fall sick literally and you're just done for a week. You're out for 10 days, and when you come out of it, it will be overwhelming. You will have way too much stuff to do and you will just lose motivation and not be able to catch up. Don't do that. Take a day off, study as much material as possible, just avoid human contact and get back on track, because you cannot afford to lose focus in college. That's the one thing I've learned, and I'm in my 3rd year, so I know what I'm talking about. And the easiest way to stay motivated is to make small goals and stick to it. So for instance, if you have readings to do every week, your goal could be read half of all of your readings before the weekend. So during the week, you have lesser stuff to do and you feel accomplished because you've reached one of your goals on Sunday. So you can start off the week with a great attitude about school. You know what I mean? Okay, the 4th thing is probably a horror story for most girls. We've all heard about the Freshman 15, and it's not a myth. It's not a myth at all. Because in college, your stress levels are at a constant high, and I really hope this is not what adult life is going to be like. The main reason Freshman 15 happens is because in college dining halls, you have all these options, which means you have healthy options and unhealthy options. And when you're stressed, you're down in the dumps, you want to eat the unhealthy food. You want to go straight to the pizza line
and eat that gooey, cheesy pizza goodness.
And yeah, you tell yourself you're going to eat a salad, after that. But then you're like, oh, there are brownies. I'm going to have some dessert, and you're full and you're done. So you have not had anything healthy that meal. The only way you can avoid the Freshman 15 is actually to make a conscious effort to eat healthy, to drink enough water. That is another thing. You have to drink plenty of water. You're walking around campus and you're running up and down. It's just easy to forget. And especially if you feel dehydrated, you're going to reach for a snack, and that is another reason you gain a lot of weight in college, because you forget to drink water. So the 2 things is drink water and throw in that salad every day. Just start with a salad and then go for your unhealthy food, so you kind of have a balance in your life. Find that balance. That is the most important thing. My 5th tip is going to be something I think is a little weird. I don't know if anyone else does it, but I know I do it. It is to immerse yourself in your classes on a different level. Okay, let me explain. I know that sounded super weird. I'll give you guys an example. I'm currently studying politics in Russia and the former Soviet Union. And what I mean by immersing myself into that class is doing something that is related to Russia, but it has nothing to do with my class. So what I'm doing with that class is I'm trying to tie my current interests with the class, which means I'm listening to Russian music, to be very specific, Russian rock and roll from a few decades ago. And I did the same thing when I was learning Spanish last year. I was listening to like Spanish songs. It was really fun, and it exposes you to this whole other world, and it can make that class a little bit more exciting. The key to doing this is to not stress yourself out about it, because you don't want to read anymore. I understand that. You don't want to do something that would take up a lot of your time. You just want something that could run in the background. If you're doing like a film studies class, just analyze your favorite movie. Use it as a practice ground before you write your first paper on this movie that you would have never watched if it wasn't for the class, right? Or if you're studying World War II, watch maybe Schindler's List one weekend, because what better way to get to know the Holocaust than to watch a movie with Liam Neeson in it? But I think that is a great way to keep yourself engaged and constantly thinking about your classes, thinking about the subject matter in your classes, because many of us are guilty of this. The moment classes end on Friday, I don't even have class on Friday, we just forget about studying. And then on Sunday, we're just like, oh my God, I have this reading to do, I have this paper to write. So if you constantly keep in mind what you're supposed to do, what your classes are about, you'll constantly be engaged. So when you're supposed to do your assignments on Sunday night, I feel like it's so much easier to get into it, because your brain has not just, shelved it all the way back. It's constantly in the forefront of your mind, and it's a great tip personally for me, because I like tying things together. I remember things by association, and I think that is one of the biggest memory tools. It's to remember things by association, to associate things that you would enjoy and new things kind of tend to stick in your mind better. So those are my 5 tips to surviving freshman year, and I hope they were helpful for you guys. It just got you guys thinking about what you can do, what you can't do, why you should do certain things, and by the time you get to sophomore year and junior year, you would have your life a little more in order because it's not all new to you guys. So thank you for watching this video, and please comment down below if you have any other tips, because I want everyone to be able to share in this space and gain as much as possible. And I know there are lots of things that I probably missed out, so do comment down below and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Till I see you guys in my next video, goodbye!